how Israel developed nuclear weapons in secret. Is Israel a nuclear power? While the answer isn't straightforward, its nuclear program is often called the worst-kept secret. But why the secrecy? If Israel has a stockpile of nuclear weapons, where are they built and tested? And how do these weapons fit into the nation's defense strategy? Let's break it down and uncover the facts one by one. In the 1950s, Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion, determined to secure Israel's survival, initiated its secret nuclear program. Despite Israel's small size and lack of formal security guarantees, Ben-Gurion tasked his science advisor, Ernst David Bergman, with leading the effort and forming the Israel Atomic Energy Commission. Shimon Peres, later Israel's president, secured crucial support from France, resulting in the construction of a heavy-water nuclear reactor and a plutonium reprocessing plant in Dimona, Negev Desert. This facility allowed Israel to produce plutonium for nuclear weapons, marking the beginning of Israel's nuclear capabilities as a key part of its defense strategy. Toward the end of 1960, when Eisenhower was wrapping up his time as president, the US found out that Israel was secretly building a nuclear reactor near Dimona in the Negev Desert with help from the French. This reactor had the potential to give Israel nuclear weapons, which really worried the US government. They were concerned about how it might impact stability in the region and contribute to nuclear proliferation. To make things worse, when the US asked Israel about it, the answers they got weren't convincing at all. It was frustrating for the administration because it felt like Israel wasn't being honest. This revelation of Israel's nuclear program came from an American corporate official who shared the information with US diplomats in Tel Aviv. This critical moment is documented in a recently declassified report, now published by the National Security Archive through the Nuclear Proliferation International History Project. The US engaged in debates over Israel's lack of transparency regarding its nuclear activities, while the government made efforts to pressure Israel into providing clear answers about the true nature of the Dimona project. Israel's nuclear weapons program has been an open secret for more than 50 years. Declassified documents and the availability of satellite imagery have played a big role in exposing the scope of the program. Whistleblowers like Mordechai Vanunu, an Israeli nuclear technician, also helped reveal the truth. Vanunu exposed Israel's secret nuclear activities and, in response, was kidnapped by Mossad agents in Italy, drugged and brought back to Israel. He was secretly tried and sentenced to 18 years in prison in 1986 for his revelations. Despite widespread knowledge of Israel's nuclear program, the United States and other nuclear-armed countries, along with international bodies responsible for monitoring arms proliferation, still avoid officially acknowledging Israel's nuclear weapons. US government employees have even been fired for mentioning Israel's nuclear arsenal. On platforms like Wikipedia, the topic is carefully worded, with the page being locked from most edits. This strategy works. According to a 2021 poll, more Americans believed that Iran has nuclear weapons than Israel, when in fact it's the other way around. This silence around Israel's nuclear weapons isn't airtight. During the early stages of Israel's war on Gaza, some government officials openly talked about possibly using nuclear weapons. Even in US military circles, some wonder if keeping Israel's nukes a secret is more harmful than helpful. The usual thinking is that having nuclear weapons only works as a deterrent if others know about them. After all, if no one thinks you can hit back with nuclear force, what's stopping them from attacking? Israel's close relationship with the United States has given it access to a wide range of powerful, non-nuclear offensive and defensive capabilities. This is further strengthened by the implied threat of US military support, which Israel actively relies on. The Glenn Amendment to the US Arms Export Control Act clearly prohibits arms assistance and requires sanctions for countries that, like Israel in 1979, tested a nuclear weapon after 1977. Yet, the strange way Israel's nuclear program is treated with such deference highlights the global forces at play that drive nuclear proliferation. In a private email leaked in September 2016, former Secretary of State and retired US Army General Colin Powell mentioned that Israel might have an arsenal of 200 nuclear weapons. It's clear that Israel has a small but powerful nuclear stockpile, integrated across its military forces. These weapons serve multiple purposes, protecting against defeat in conventional warfare and deterring enemies from launching nuclear, chemical, or biological attacks. Ultimately, Israel's nuclear arsenal is aimed at one goal: ensuring the survival of the Jewish state. Israel's first nuclear weapons were likely gravity bombs, delivered by fighter aircraft, with the F-4 Phantom being the first capable delivery system. These early nuclear devices were likely carried by the Phantom, a large, robust twin-engine fighter. Today, smaller nuclear bombs likely equip the F-15I and F-16I fighters. Israel's first land-based nuclear weapons were launched from Jericho-Wayim missiles, developed in partnership with France. The Jericho-Wayim has since been replaced by more advanced Jericho-2 and Jericho-3 missiles. The Jericho-2 has a range of 932 miles, while the Jericho-3 can strike targets up to 3,106 miles away, making it capable of targeting distant nations like Iran. Although the exact number of Israeli ballistic missiles is unknown, experts estimate at least 24. Additionally, Israel's 5 German-built Dolphin-class submarines are believed to carry nuclear-tipped cruise missiles, providing Israel with a second strike capability. So, Israel will not be the first country to get nuclear weapons in the Middle East, but in November 2023, during the war with Hamas, something happened that made people start wondering. A junior minister, Amihai Eliyahu, actually suggested that Israel should drop a nuclear bomb on Gaza. Of course, that raised a lot of eyebrows, and some people took it as a hint that Israel might already have nuclear weapons. Well, Prime Minister Netanyahu wasn't having any of it. He quickly spoke out, told Eliyahu off, and suspended him for making that comment. The US has been the largest arms supplier to Israel, its closest ally in the Middle East, followed by Germany, whose support for Israel is partly driven by atonement for the Nazi Holocaust, and Italy. However, this year, 2 countries, Canada and the Netherlands, have stopped arms shipments to Israel. They are concerned that these weapons could be used in ways that violate international humanitarian law, particularly in causing civilian casualties and destroying residential areas in Gaza. Australian-German Jewish author Anthony Lowenstein argues that many nations around the world support Israel's occupation of Palestine because it provides them with the opportunity to buy battle-tested weapons. Anthony Lowenstein told Anadolu that for years, Israel's defense sector has treated Palestine as a testing ground for new weapons and surveillance technology. He pointed out that this is still happening in the current war on Gaza. Lowenstein added that artificial intelligence, AI, has played a significant role in Israel's military operations, particularly in targeting during airstrikes. According to him, AI has been a key factor in the mass killings of Palestinians and the widespread destruction. He called the ongoing war on Gaza inarguably one of the most consequential and bloody. What are your thoughts on the open secret of Israel's nuclear weapons? Share your views in the comments below.